MVC with servlets and JSPs in Jakarta server pages. Now we are here. You can see the illustration is detailed step-by-step description of each number in the image in MVC with servlet and JSP. Servlet were very popular even JSPs first arrived, and because of easy to use and fast deployment model, they were used to do everything. MVC using JSP is possible, but scriptlets make your pages very hard to read, and when you start mixing JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and Java all in one files, it's easy to get the 1,000 lines, meaning that the output will normally be a long HTML file that will take a lot of time to load, render, and execute JavaScript code, not to mention the readability problem. To avoid the separate Java code from the separate Java code from HTML, normally servlet is used. The servlet do all the heavy lifting, load model data, process, modify it, and then save it back, and then add it to the request as described, request as attributes, and dispatch it to the JSP file that will use the expression language. And taglibs to generate HTML code that will be rendered on the client side. Some people even argue that makes it easy enough for designers to generate HTML in those fancy design tools like Dreamweaver or Illustrator, but some people don't like the automatically generated HTML because the tools still aren't good enough, and designers and programmers, most of them don't like to be responsible for HTML, and they aren't paid to do that. Some people think that is a part of their job. Back to the MVC stuff. The following is the illustration that shows how request and response flow is handled. Handles then in a sample project. After the illustration is now we are going to describe a detailed description of each number of in the image. One, the Tomcat receives the request and passes it to the base servlet. That is an abstract servlet class that all servlets should be extended to get the basic request response functionality. Step 2, the base servlet calls the execute method of the subclass. Step 3, the execute method is where the real action happens, and all exceptions should not be handled. And there is here is where the servlet access the data access layer. For data access layer handle all conversation with the database and passes only object back to the servlet. 5, after loading or updating the data subclass of base servlet, only need to return a string that says how the response should be handled. The dispatch method will handle the forwarding to JSP or a redirect instruction back to the browser. If an exception is thrown by the execute method, it will be handled and redirected to the error.jsp page. Here JSPs, base servlet and servlet subclass, DAO and databases are in this picture inside the Tomcat web server. The request is connected to do get or do post, and do get and do post interacts with the base servlet, and then base do post in the, here the then base servlet interacts with execute in here the servlet subclass, and execute interact with the data DAO, and DAO interacts with the database, and here the dispatch is connected to JSPs, or here the then dispatch, and the dispatch is connected to response via error or redirect. Now this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for watching it.